Christmas. I can't believe it. Hi, well, I'm Alison Arngrim, and this is the Alison Arngrim Show. Some of you may remember me as Evil Nellie Olson. Luckily, tonight I'm Alison Arngrim, and this is the Alison Arngrim Show. And on the Alison Arngrim Show, we talk about things that make you feel good, the movies and the TV shows that made us feel good, and the people who made them, and people who are doing things now to make the world a better and more interesting place. And it's Christmas Eve. Okay, it's a pre-tape, but it's Christmas Eve. And we had to pre-tape this because my guest for Christmas Eve, it's a very difficult get, as they say in show business, to get this man. And of course, we have to pre-tape because he works on Christmas Eve. He works all night on Christmas Eve. So we managed to grab him in his pre-Christmas schedule for a few minutes to come on our show for an hour. He's wonderful. He's been on before. And it's just, we are graced with his presence. Yes, here on Christmas Eve in the Alison Arngrim Show, we have from the North Pole, the one and only Santa Claus. Santa, how are you? How have you been?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm here. As you know.
Well, you look great. You look great. And you say your workshop is just so beautifully decked out. It's fantastic.
Mrs. Claus has a big part of that play, right? She does all around here.
She's the one in the decor. I'm so glad. How is Mrs. Claus?
Wonderful. As a matter of fact, she was out in the barn earlier with the reindeer.
The reindeer. Oh, so good to hear the reindeer. Oh,
I'm so excited about our big night.
I'll bet. Now, being at the North Pole, I mean, do you have any issues with polar bears or anything like that? Is it difficult, or you have good security?
Polar bears more like the coastal places. We're not coastal. However, we do occasionally get a stray polar bear up here.
Oh, dear.
You know, I can talk to animals. I'll sometimes even have a Coca-Cola with a polar bear. Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
Yes, you may have seen ads of Coca-Cola.
I have. I mean, some say you got your suitor idea from the Coca-Cola ad. I think they got it from you.
Well, the suit idea actually was way back when. I don't know if you've seen a little movie about me called Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Oh, indeed.
It's pretty accurate. Yes, it is. You may have seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Every year.
Pretty accurate there, too.
Incredible. Now, I mean, some of the things I've always wanted to know. I mean,
yes,
did we find out why Rudolph's nose glows the way it does? What brought that on?
He was actually born with that nose. You know, the red blood vessels in his nose are much larger than most reindeer. And that's the reason. And it just glows because of those larger red blood vessels.
So it's just a natural thing for Rudolph. He was born that way, as they say.
Yes, indeed. He was.
Oh, well, he's just marvelous. I've always loved Rudolph. I've loved Rudolph since I was a kid, and you're marvelous in that movie as well. Now, the reindeer, what do the reindeer eat? Because, I mean, they must have to keep up their energy, what with flying all over the world.
A variety of things that they like to eat. Of course, the hay that we feed them. But in the natural, you know, they like twigs and shrubs and bark, especially from birch trees. They love that. It's almost like candy to them. Yes.
Now, when I was a kid, I would leave stuff out, things like carrots and apples and stuff for the reindeer. Is that okay for them to eat?
They love those things. You know, carrots are like candy to reindeer.
So not the sugar cubes, because I remember one year I was like, oh, the reindeer, they should have sugar cubes. But I'm thinking maybe that's not really good.
Really, the apples have enough sugar in them. If you give them apples, that's plenty. It's natural. And so they just love that kind of thing.
So the healthy snacks for the reindeer, that makes sense.
Just
but
like
I think they burn a lot of calories because, I mean, going over the entire world in an evening, how do you get all over the world in one night?
It's Christmas magic, my dear. You know, I've got technologies that most people will never see in their lifetime. I've been blessed with that. And, of course, the sleigh has been rigged over the years to get even faster in places that we need to get. And don't forget, I do go all over the world, but not everyone celebrates Christmas. And so, because of that, it's not as difficult for me as you might think. And
I guess
also,
that's good.
yes,
But
there's some places in the world that don't need me.
they're not expecting Santa. I mean, I
Exactly.
suppose there's some who they say, well, it's sort of a secular holiday, and they still,
Exactly.
talk to you. That's good. Now, the sleigh, you say
Oh, it's
even
got the
increased the technology and the speed of your sleigh.
have we? We have GPS like even NASA doesn't have. You may
So there's no chance of you getting lost, even in the snowstorms.
never. And the reindeer surprisingly know how to read the GPS. So even if I'm busy doing something while we're going somewhere, they actually know where we're going ahead of time. It's all part of the Christmas magic.
This is just genius. This is amazing. And now, when I was a little girl, I was always fascinated with the idea of you coming down the chimney, and I've always wondered how you do that. And then when I was a little girl, we didn't have a real chimney. We had a pretend fireplace. And I would come out and I'd try to look up my pretend fireplace and I go, how is he getting in? How is he getting in? My parents said he will get in.
I,
How chimneys and when there isn't how on earth, how do you get in?
well, you have to keep in mind, not everyone lives in the same kind of architecture, correct? So
Hello.
I've got to be able to get in anywhere. I can land on the roof if the roof is big enough, and I can actually go down the chimney. I have shrinkage kind of apparatuses that help me. I can shrink myself. I can shrink the presents so they all go down into the house soot free.
Wow.
Remember, you've never seen me with a bunch of soot on me.
No.
Yes,
You
it's
keep
all
that
done.
beautiful red suit so clean.
Yes. Now, also, not everyone, like you said, has a chimney. So I have a magic key, and that key unlocks any door I wish to go through.
Oh my.
Yes, I can also open windows. Yes, I've got a little apparatus that can actually open a window from the outside without causing any damage at all.
I'm certainly good. You have those things and not someone with a bad attitude that
Absolutely.
no, wouldn't want a burglar to have that. Thank heavens
That's
it's
right.
Santa Claus who has these things.
Part of all the Christmas magic.
Incredible. Because I did one about the presents getting them done. And that's true. Chimney after chimney, house after house, and yet your beautiful red velvety suit stays clean. Do you have to have it then by the end of the night? Well, the next day, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, do you get it cleaned?
Absolutely, it's cleaned every year and put away, and then I get it back out for this season. And of course, I use it all season long. With the many appearances I have to make, it needs to be there for me, ready to go. And actually, I've got 5 of them.
You're just everywhere. I am so impressed, so impressed. And it's just that you're everywhere. And I see you all the time. I see you at events. I see you in shopping malls. I see you on TV. And just, you still look great. There's a question. Santa, I don't want to ask like your age, but I mean, are you are you immortal? Do you just never age? Or do you just have like really good moisturizer? I mean, you look amazing.
Thank you, my dear. Well, here's the thing, it's all part of the Christmas magic. I am, after all, the spirit of Christmas.
Mm.
And spirits have a lot more things that they get away with than most people. Immortality? Well, do spirits have immortality? That kind of answers the question for you. And
You
of course,
are.
the magic of it all is really the secret to this season. And everyone's always in a great mood this time of year. And if
I
they're not,
know.
I always try to get them there.
I know I am. I mean, sometimes Christmas makes, oh, they feel bad. I don't know. I get in a good mood at Christmas. I do. I think I do catch your spirit. I'm pleased to say that. I'm always in
I,
a good mood at Christmas.
I hope you do. And if you're not in that spirit, I do try to put people there. I always want to put a smile on someone's face. It's why I do this.
Well, you certainly succeed. Now, I'm amazed that, now Mrs. Claus, her duties include, you mentioned she is in charge of the decor. What else does she do?
She basically puts herself where I actually do need her. she's very good about that. Matter of fact, yesterday she made me some cookies. I
Oh.
needed cookies.
Now, so you do like the cookies because when I was a girl, I always put out cookies for Santa Claus. So you did get the cookies.
Yeah,
Good, good, good.
absolutely. And of course, the milk.
Absolutely never without milk. You can't drink it dry after flying around all over the world.
Absolutely. It's all tradition.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Now, how do you manage though? I mean, there must be so many cookies at the house. Your weight stays the same. You stay the same. How do you manage? That's Christmas magic. You eat those cookies
So
and
we have a little machine that I walk around on. It helps me. But I am so busy all year long, not just at Christmas time. I do keep myself active. And so because of that, I kind of keep my weight pretty normal all year long.
well, that's good. I mean, the idea of Santa exercising, but I mean, you have to be in shape to get right a sleigh and deal with the reindeer and carry the presents. You would
Absolutely.
have to be in relatively good physical condition. So
Yes, I'm
does
going.
Santa have a exercise regime or anything?
Well, pretty much playing with the reindeer.
Mhm.
That really is an exercise regimen. They just keep me running and running and running.
Well, that's right. Reindeer. I mean, that's crazier than having dogs, and you've got eight of them. I mean, and
Especially, especially ones that fly.
right. Okay. How do they fly?
Well, many years ago, I had a friend of mine who, well, he's a friend now, but way back when we had to become friendly, and he was losing some of his magical powers, and he had
Oh,
these magic beans. And the reindeer ate these beans, and before I knew it, they were flying. And that's how it
wow.
started.
So it was the beans, because I mean, and
It
it kept
was.
them going.
It was
They
the beans.
seem very fuel efficient. I mean, to get around the one team of reindeer and they make it through the whole night all over the world. It must be very efficient method.
It is, and also don't forget the sleigh is outfitted with some extra help for the reindeer because, as you know,
Oh.
you have to go. It's a long flight, and it's one of those things that, well, Christmas magic can explain.
So you found a new fuel source. We like this. I very
Absolutely.
impressive.
Oh,
Now, have you always been Santa? Did you become Santa? How did that come about?
well, I was born, and a little family found me, or actually, I was delivered to them. And as I grew up, they were toy makers. The elves, as you well know,
Right.
they had to put their toys someplace, and there was no one to deliver these toys to these children because they sort of lived on the outskirts, away from things. And
Mhm.
so, as I got older, bigger, made me capable of handling such a job, I just grew into it. And it's been ever
Sort of
since.
literally.
I literally grew into it. And it's been that way ever since.
So you've had a relationship with the elves really your whole life.
Absolutely.
And they're the elves. What are elves? I mean, are they magical beings, these elves? They're
They are quite magical, and they've gotten even more magical as the years have grown, just like
really
I have. As technology gets better and better, this helps us to get things to where they need to be. And the elves are very special people. As you know, they love everyone, and
oh,
they're very special people themselves. And they're so helpful and lovable and caring. And that's what we need more of in this world.
I think so. I think that's one of the nice things about Christmas and about your work, Santa Claus, that it raises the bar for how we treat each other and how people can be.
Absolutely. Very important.
Now, it's how can we be more like Santa, do you think, in our day-to-day lives?
That's a very good question. And here's what I say to that question. Think of kindness. Remember, kindness is free. Kindness costs nothing, right? So always where you go, try and spread kindness, peace, loving. And that's what you do. I have this thing when sometimes people meet me and they ask me, how do you do it? And I say, well, you've got it in you too. And I always say to them, WWJD. LSD.
What would what would Santa do?
That's right! You got it, my dear, and as you well know, I practiced this throughout the world.
Well,
What
this,
would
I mean,
you do?
when you make your list and we talk about naughty and nice, I mean, what do you consider qualifying as nice? What do you consider nice?
Just like what you would consider kindness, thoughtfulness, loving, caring, doing the right thing, knowing from right and wrong. That's what the nice list is all about.
Well, this is the kind of campaign we need. This is the kind of attitude we need now more than ever. Now, you talked about you have upcoming appearances. When you go to an appearance and you sit with people and talk to the children, um, what sort of things do you do? How do you exemplify this Santa-ness with them?
Well, I always ask children, are you being kind? Are you obeying your parents? You know, parents have a big job in raising little
Right.
ones to adults. And so, because of that, they want to make sure that they're being good and learning. Always stay in school, by the way. Education is one of the most important things that are going to happen in your life. And so these are the kinds of conversations I have with children. And of course, they always ask for toys. Of course, and I always tell them, well, I'll see what I can do. I can't always give them what they want, but I certainly will do my best. And also, there are certain toys that children will ask for that I will never, ever give them, and that's any kind of weapon. No
Ah.
weapon of any kind. No bow and arrows, no guns. That's not what I do. But I do the toys.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you are absolutely an emissary and a symbol of peace and of love.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, so things that are for battle and for war and for these that's just not your range there, your
There's
bailiwick.
really
That's
no
not
place
what
in
you do.
society. It's really not, you know. We have to leave that to our people who protect each and every country. That's really what they're for.
To the professionals, that's what I say. I think it's
Absolutely, my
much
dear.
better. So when you go to these parties and these events, I mean, do the adults must come and talk to you as much as the children?
Do they? They become bigger children than the children. I'll be someplace out at a store or a party, and there's a line of people, and it's so funny to watch the adults because, like I say, they're more kid-like than the children are. It's kind of funny to watch.
Takes me back, and I often when I'm in the mall and I always like to talk to Santa. I
Of
still
course.
do. I still want to leaf out those cookies. I still make my list, and so I think it does. It takes us back to when we were kids, and I think that's a good thing. I think,
It's
as I
a
said,
great
the
thing.
Alison Argrim show make people feel good, and I think it's good. I think we need to embrace Santa even more. I think that's good for people.
As long as they're behaving children. Some adults, not so good, and we all know who they are. I
Just
don't
there's
need
a
to
naughty list out
explain.
there. We know there's a naughty list out there.
Absolutely.
So when children come and they talk to you, what sort of questions do they ask you?
They ask the very same ones you're asking about. They ask about the reindeer. They ask about Mrs. Claus if she's not with me. Sometimes she makes appearances with me, and those are always most fun. But yes, children are very curious creatures to begin with anyway, and they can come up with anything. They ask me everything. And of course,
Wow,
is answer with the most honesty I can.
that's good of you. How did you and Mrs. Claus meet, if that's not too personal?
It's not personal at all. She was a teacher. And I happened to be
Really?
delivering presents one day to some children, and she saw me. And she was very curious as to what I was doing and why. And I explained to her, and we just started seeing each other, and before you know it, we were married.
Well, now, see, now this makes sense. You say that she was a teacher, and then you're talking about in being good to be on the nice list that education is key, and parents trying to see to it their children stay in school, of course, because duh, Mrs. Claus is a teacher. She was a teacher,
Yeah,
so this all makes total sense now.
Yes, it's I love people that give back to society, and teachers are some of those people. We have first responders are always
Mm.
those kinds of people. Everyone that really wants to do good in society, and for no other reason to just do good, is a great thing. And I wish more people would catch on. Unfortunately, these days, they're not so much.
People think so much of themselves. They do. People say, what Christmas, and they all know what they want. It's like, but what are you getting for other people? What are you going to do for others this year? That seems to be a stretch for some people.
That's Yep, and that's the way it is. But hopefully, we're going to turn things around eventually, and the kindness will take over. It's really what we
Oh
need.
man, I do hope it does. Now, Santa, what do you want for Christmas? Do you get presents?
I don't want any presents. I have everything I could possibly want and more. However, I do want world peace. That would be the biggest gift you could ever give me. World peace is something that we've been striving for a very, very long time, and unfortunately, we've been very unsuccessful with it. And I
Well,
think we need to do better.
I know when I've gone to Santa for many times when I Santa in the mall, I said, "Well, what do you want for Christmas?" And I've said, "I did get world peace." I've asked how many times have I asked for world peace? Sometimes I might ask for new shoes, but I'll ask for new shoes and world peace
Yeah,
because yes.
that's it. That's the key. Kindness and world peace. It's all we could ever really want.
Now you've gone to many famous people's homes in some of your events. You've worked with
Oh,
so
I
many very famous
absolutely,
people. What
absolutely.
celebrities have you met?
Oh, I can't think of any I haven't met. I mean, I've met so many. Paris Hilton was really a wonderful lady. I walked up to her door and she embraced me like I never ever thought she would, but she was so kind and wonderful. I love Paris Hilton.
See,
John
this is
Legend.
fantastic because at one time I was, oh, Paris Hilton. The character she presented on TV, she was someone you'd see on a naughty list,
Yes,
and now she's doing wonders. She's been out speaking in Washington for the cause of abused children. I mean,
absolutely.
Paris has just grown up. She's grown up
Absolutely.
to be a very nice person. So I'm so happy to see that Paris is now on the nice list and loves Santa Claus.
Yes. John Legend is out this year. He's traveling all over the place making people happy. He's wonderful. But of course, you, my dear, you and I have done things together.
Indeed,
We
indeed.
do have a wonderful relationship, and I really love you so much. And of course, your husband, Bob. You're both so wonderful, giving people. You're so philanthropic. And I love that about you, too.
Oh, thank you, Santa. I mean, it is true. How I've been to many things with you. It's incredible, and to see many of the celebrities you've worked with, celebrity homes you've been to, and parties you've been to with these people, and just that there are people, even yes, in show business, who really embrace the spirit of Christmas and Santa Claus, who really get it.
Well, I really, really do appreciate everyone who is so kind, inviting me to be a part of whatever they're doing. I always, to the best of my ability, don't forget I really am a busy person, but I try to get out and meet people and see people and try to attend their parties if I'm invited. I will always do that. That's what I do.
And in our modern age, you've even done internet ones. You've even done cameos and
Oh,
videos
oh,
nowadays for
yeah,
people.
absolutely, I do cameos. As a matter of fact, anytime I'm asked to do a birthday shout out, of course I do that. And I've got a little sign that helps me.
Oh, look!
Happy birthday!
So
You,
you mean someone can get Santa for their birthday if they want. If they want to hire Santa to give them a video shout out for their
you,
birthday, even if it's not Christmas, they can do
that's
it.
right. All year long I do this. And you've got a birthday shout out, miss. You've got a birthday January
I
18th.
do my birthday. You see, Santa knows my birthday. Look at this. Santa
Absolutely, I
knows my
do.
birthday. This is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, I take a birthday shout out from Santa. That's awesome. Have Christmas like all year round. I've done parties where I've had Christmas in the middle of the year. I had a party years ago, some friends and I, we said, August doesn't have enough holidays in it. January you have New Year's, February you got Valentine's Day, then you have Easter, you have your holiday, you have
In
Thanksgiving,
August.
November.
Bob's
And we
birthday.
oh, Bob's birthday. So I said, we didn't have enough parties, and we did have a party. We said, okay, it's going to be multiple holidays. And it was great because we had a pumpkin, but we did the house, we put up a tree, and it was lovely. We had Christmas in August, and it was so much fun. So is that, I mean, people can have Christmas at different times of year if they want.
Absolutely, they can. Christmas in July is a big thing, believe it or not.
Really? Has that become a thing now?
It really is. I've actually attended things in July for people. It's a big thing.
Do you get warm in that costume?
I do, absolutely. But they've always got some cool place that I can go and relax and continue my business.
Wow, that's okay. Because yeah, you think of Santa, the velvet suit. So you need a little air conditioning if you're doing Christmas in
Absolutely.
July. Absolutely.
And
But
they're
that's
not in the
incredible.
sun. You can't put me in the sun, right?
No,
And of course, I also do other things. For example, I am going to be in Marina Del Rey on the 14th. Yes, Marina Del Rey, California has me coming there as a Jimmy Buffett Santa. And so they sent me all these things to look like Jimmy Buffett. I've got parrot sunglasses. And yes, a Hawaiian shirt I'm going to be wearing. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're celebrating the 60th or 62nd Christmas boat parade. That's what the event is.
the boat parade. Oh,
Yes.
but yeah. See, this is great. I love the idea of Santa yes, in a Hawaiian shirt. That's hilarious. But yes, obviously Santa would be everywhere, so Santa could be in
I'll
Hawaii.
send you some pictures, my dear.
Oh, please do, please do. Did you do pink Santa thing? Wasn't there a pink Santa thing?
That actually was for Paris Hilton.
Paris, of
Wanted a
course.
pink Santa, so of course I obliged.
Wow. Wow. That had to be incredible. Pink Santa. I've seen some really good pink trees. I'd never seen pink Santa. That's pictures.
He's quite
Now
creative.
I've got a tiny tree here. I'm actually going to turn my camera. You can see my tiny tree here. Can you see there? Little sparkly tree. There it is. There it is.
I love it.
It's
It's
a nice
beautiful.
silver sparkly kind, and we have the color
Yes,
wheel, the actual color wheel, like in the 1950s that
I
chicks put on the
remember.
tree.
I do remember.
Oh yeah, I
It's
love
so
that
helpful.
one. So I've got the silver tree with the color wheel. Do you have a particularly favorite tree?
I really don't. As long as it looks great, I'm fine with anything. I even liked Charlie Brown's Christmas tree.
Oh, I think I like those best. I often like those. My Auntie Marion, and you remember my Auntie Marion, she took me to the set on Little House. It was sweet. She
Absolutely.
always got the Charlie Brown tree. She would go to the Christmas tree lot and she'd see the little tree. And she said, I feel sorry for this tree.
She's got a
And
good heart.
bring home the tiny little tree that sometimes they'd say, you really want that one, lady? Okay, $5 to get the little tree. And she'd, no, no. And she'd get it home and she'd put that little fuzzy cotton fake snow around it on the table. And she'd hang the most beautiful, tiny, beautiful hand blown glass ornaments because it was this little tree. It showed them off beautifully. And it was like she saw the beauty in this little tiny baby Charlie Brown tree. And that's what she would get every
Absolutely.
year. And it was stunning, stunning, I tell you.
Well, I've even seen food pantries that build
Yes.
Christmas trees out of cans. And
What a
that
great
way,
idea.
yes, the food pantry is all festive with these canned trees. And it's just wonderful that even they're getting into the spirit of Christmas.
Well, that's a place a lot of people don't realize. Almost everyone has a food pantry of
Oh,
some kind
you
in
bought
their
lots of
neighborhood.
them in your area. I've seen you.
Yes, well, I've gone down there and bagged those groceries. We had so many bananas. Everybody had to take a bag of bananas, whether they needed them or not, because we had so many bananas. But yeah, the food bank, there's one in every neighborhood. There's several. And you can go if you're looking for someone to volunteer and there's such you think, well, where? And I don't think there's always somewhere. There's a church or a synagogue or a building somewhere in your neighborhood. Somebody's got a food bank and you can go down there and you can bring you have excess canned goods, you have extra food, or they may need help just putting stuff in bags, just putting stuff in bags and putting it on the shelf. You can
That's
do that
right.
near Christmas.
Absolutely. They're all angels.
And what do you think? I mean, is there a popular toy every year? Do you see patterns in what is the popular toy for the year?
For the last few years, I've got to be honest with you, Legos.
Really?
Legos.
Legos. Well,
Well,
Legos are great.
eh,
Legos are in.
I remember many, many years ago, Lincoln Logs were also a very popular item.
Lincoln Logs. I'm old enough to remember Lincoln Logs. Oh, good heaven.
Yes. But Legos now, Legos come in all sorts of things. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
automobiles, practically anything you can build with Legos now. And I think really that's the most popular.
Well, I'm impressed because, so many things, it's been video games or electronic toys. So I'm impressed to see that something like a Lego, which is more, to me, creative, something with your hands. I mean, yes, you can make now Legos and they can be animated and electronic and Lord knows what. And you can pirate ships. This Lego pirate ship kind of looks good.
Yes,
But yes, they're getting back to the creative toys.
yes, big time.
Well, that's kind of a relief. Was there a big upswing in electronic? Do you see it kind of going back?
Well, yes, absolutely. There are upswings in all different sort of toys throughout the years. Electronics were probably bigger in the 90s, the late 90s. They were the real big thing back then. But Legos have once again overtaken that spot on the list.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm sort of pleased to hear that. Like the educational toys. I guess I'm old. I'm like, yay, Legos, because I always liked them. That's amazing. And then the movies that come out, do you see do they affect them? Did more people want Barbies? Did more people want theme toys for the Pirates of the Caribbean, say, when that was the thing?
Movies and television always affect toys and popularity of different things, not just toys. Fashion. A lot of women love fashion, and many women like the expensive dresses, the cocktail dresses, those kinds of things. Yeah, they're very popular as well with the young ladies.
Oh, that's right. Do you find it in some, even the younger kids want like certain clothes, certain shoes, certain sneakers,
They
jackets? Is that a
do.
thing?
Certain sneakers and shoes,
Very
absolutely.
big,
Those are
very
those
big.
are yes, absolutely. They need to walk somewhere too.
That's true. You got to have a good, and now at my age, I have to be careful. I have to get the good footwear. I have to make sure I have the proper arch support. So I have to get the good sneakers.
You and me both. My boots are perfectly made for me.
I would say, we see you in those big black boots, but you must have some kind of incredible arch and ankle support because all the work you do.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's all the innards.
So how do you stay healthy? What kind of things do you eat? Do you take vitamins? How does Santa stay healthy all year?
I do take extra vitamins. I also eat right. Mrs.
Oh, good, good.
Claus makes sure that I'm plump and ready for the sleigh on Christmas Eve every year. I do lose a little weight during the year, and then she has to plump me up.
Right.
Thanksgiving is the start of that. And once
Yes.
Thanksgiving hits, the holidays just fly, and I'm eating left and right with all these different desserts. She spoils me. Rotten.
I think Thanksgiving is the start of the plumping up for everybody.
Yes, that's what it is. That's,
Holidays.
I sometimes wonder if it was created just for me.
I think so. They say, okay, what do we have for a holiday leading up to Christmas? So Santa Claus can get a start on the
That's
mashed
right.
potatoes.
And it's a
And
good start, let me tell you. Not just the mashed potatoes, you've got the stuffing. Oh, I
mm,
love stuffing.
I love stuffing.
Yes.
Oh. Well, this makes sense. This makes sense, but you stay so youthful and so young. It's just amazing. I think it's one of the inspiring things about you. Um, have you had difficult questions from children? I know you must sometimes get sad children who talk to you.
There are times that I do get a very sad child, and I will pull out something that they've actually asked for. Again,
Mm.
Christmas magic. So if I've got something available, it's right there in front of them at a moment's notice, because after all, it's that time of year. And these children really do need our extra help, kindness, love. They are really one of the most important things this time of year that we really have to watch out so that nothing bad can happen. Now, I do occasionally do get the request for a gun.
Oh
I
dear.
always have to explain to them why I can never give them a gun. It's just not proper, it's not right, and really, people shouldn't be owning guns. It's just not a good thing.
Well, certainly unsecured and around the small ones, it can be
Right.
quite dangerous. And
Absolutely.
well, and said you have children who also just want you as a sounding board to tell you their troubles.
I believe sometimes that is the case. And I hope I'm doing good when I do get to talk to them. I know there are psychiatrists all over the world that really do appreciate me because I've been told by them that, what you say and do in public is really important. And I hope that's coming across.
I think it is. I think it is. So where can people find you if they want to get a shout out from Santa
You
or
can go,
contact you and tell you what they want for
sure.
Christmas?
You can write us at info Santa and Mrs. Claus at gmail.com. And I know there's no phone number I'm going to give out, but if you write us, a phone
Mhm.
number will be given to you
Oh,
automatically.
fantastic.
Yes, so you get all that information at info Santa and Mrs. Claus at gmail.com.
And to just think I live in a futuristic age where Santa Claus has a Gmail account. It's
Yes. And Cameo. I'm on Cameo.
and he's on Cameo. You can book
Yes.
Santa Claus on Cameo. It's just so wonderful to see you and talk to you. But again, your message of peace. Again, I want to say, what can you say to parents of children that they to do this year that they can start doing this Christmas to make the world a better place and make it safer for their children?
Would introduce them to all the kindness that you can possibly give them. Like if you're going to visit a food pantry, take the children with you. They're going to learn by example. And that's the best way children are going to learn. Give them good examples to learn, and they'll follow in your footsteps.
Absolutely. I think children do they imitate. People will say, tell their children, they'll tell them do this, go to school, but they watch. They watch what the
Yeah,
adults do, they
there's
watch
too
what we
much
do, they
watching
watch
and
what
not
parents
enough
do.
doing.
It's, Santa, you've nailed it. You have nailed it there. I mean, that absolutely is it. I mean, I talk about that. I tell people to stay in school. I didn't stay in school as long as I should have. I did, complete high school, got my papers, but I look back and I go, no, I probably shouldn't have stayed a little longer. And since then, I take courses. I'm one of those people who's mad for going back to school. I
Oh,
went
I
back
know
to
you
school
do.
and learned French.
Absolutely.
I've gone back to school, learned many, many things. And it's
You
never too
have.
late, never too late to go back to school. But to put education is so important. And I'm so glad that Santa Claus is telling people, yeah, education. I mean, Mrs. Claus was a teacher, for heaven's sake.
Absolutely. And I really love what you and Bob do. You people are so wonderful. I can't talk enough about you.
Well, thank you. I guess we're on the nice list and
You
getting good.
sure are. Unlike that nasty Nellie Olson, she
Oh,
was on
wow.
the naughty list.
Is that coal? Is that
That
what
is
Nellie
cool.
would be getting? Would Nellie
That is
Olson be
cool.
getting coal in her
Nellie
stocking?
Olson, I gave Nellie Olson a little bit of coal. Yes,
I think
she and
she
Willie.
she
She really
finally
did
learned
that.
her lesson, though. She did. She married Percival and
She sure
finally
did.
did. She did learn her
Absolutely.
lesson. Got on the
Everybody came
nice
around.
list.
Even Willie came around.
That's right. Willie got nice. So even Nellie Olson and Willie Olson on Little House on the Prairie grew up and got nice. It is possible.
It is. Absolutely.
Well, I hope you have a fantastic Christmas. Sid, we're pre-taping this because you are booked solid Christmas Eve and will be absolutely all over the world. Stay warm and I hope everybody leaves out the good cookies. I will. And make sure healthy snacks for the reindeer people. You don't need to leave sugar cubes candy for the reindeer. Carrots, apples, healthy snacks for the reindeer. They run on that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Santa Claus. I just don't even know
You,
what to
my
say. It's
dear.
so wonderful to have you.
I always enjoy your conversations. Have happy and safe holidays, my dear, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And that's info at
Info Santa and Mrs. Claus
Santa and Mrs. Claus at
at
Gmail.
gmail.com.
And then on Cameo.
And then on Cameo.
All right.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Santa, and
You're very
Merry
welcome.
Christmas.
You're very welcome, my dear.
And I'm Alison Argram, and this is the Alison Argram Show, and Merry Christmas.
Love found my way home across the track.